Hey, babe. Did you know that using a great alternative light source doesn't cost $1 billion or look like a suitcase anymore?
Surely that's not true, but if you can give me more information, I'll be inclined to believe you.
Well, now you can get a pocket-sized blacklight from Taction USA that works just as well as a large ALS, an alternative light source. It works so well, you'll never go back to any other ALS. It's lightweight and literally fits in your pocket. Made out of aluminum, so it's durable, it will last you a lifetime. You can find the professional blacklight at TactionUSA.com for $29.99. Ships quickly, and your order comes from Taction USA's Amazon store, so it's easy to order. Taction USA is run by law enforcement for law enforcement. You should check it out today and get yours.
Get yours right now, today, at TactionUSA.com. The tape. We're back at you with a mini episode, smaller than the regular ones, but bigger than nothing at all. I'm Brendan, and my co-host is
Hillary.
And today, she's going to teach you everything you need to know
about the history of the patrol car, also
known as the paddy wagon. No, that's something different.
That's different, dear. So, the first patrol car was an electric wagon and was used by the Akron Police Department in 1889.
You said 1889 and electric.
Yes. So think about that for a second.
There were 7,000 gerbils and little wheels running.
Doesn't quite compute, does it? But impressively enough, they did create such a thing.
And I'm sure they had thousands of them on the street.
No. Oh. The very first driver of the electric wagon was also documented, Officer Louis Mueller, Sr., not Jr.
Who later caught on fire.
No.
I would guess.
He had the pleasure of being the first officer to drive a patrol car ever. The vehicle went 16 miles per hour and had to be recharged every 30 minutes. At the time, the vehicle cost $2,400 to make,
not
which
bad.
Comparatively in today's world would be $80,000.
Very bad.
This is why it did not last. It was I have to say, that's very impressive for that era.
1889, and they had electric vehicles, even a 30-minute runtime.
That's not bad, really.
For what I would guess that, it would go about half a block and then it would explode and you'd have to buy another one.
Yeah,
but no, they got half an hour at 16 miles an hour.
Yeah. So in 1932, this marks the next milestone in patrol car history. This is when Ford developed a VB flathead. It soon became popular among police departments. And in the 1940s, Chevy and Ford became the headliners for developing vehicles that were designated police cars, and Chevy, Ford, and Dodge are the headliners today. So they haven't changed much since the 40s. At least being the headliners.
Yes. Yeah, those are generally your leaders in cop caring in the U.S.
And as we know, these two companies are still the leading manufacturers for today's. The need for a patrol car became increasingly popular from 1939 into the 50s in the United Kingdom. This may be credited to Captain Popkiss,
of course,
who was Chief Constable of the Nottingham City Police.
Chief Constable Popkiss, Nottingham Police.
He recognized the need to give law enforcement some way to respond faster than being on foot. So he helped develop the two-way radio system also.
Oh, wow.
So that police command staff could communicate with their officers who were in the new patrol cars.
Right, actually out there in the field.
Right. So it's all thanks to Popkiss.
Oh, little Popkiss. When was he creating?
Somewhere. I couldn't find an exact date. It was probably more closer to the 50s. Mm-hmm. And then around World War II, police jurisdictions began to expand, which meant officers needed a way to patrol more effectively from one side of town to the other. Again, they saw that, beat patrol wasn't covering it.
Rather than one poor officer running from one side of town to the other to try to locate a call.
Well, and I would imagine, I couldn't find anything definitive, but I would imagine since it was around World War II, they probably had less staff.
Yeah, so, a lot of those guys were probably tied up.
Yeah, so they had less staff and they had more coverage. Since then, patrol cars have been an integral part of daily police operations. There's plenty of big cities that still have mounted patrol areas and bike police and things like that, even beat cops. Mm-hmm. But obviously in big places, big as in big region,
large.
There's large coverage. Obviously there's a need. But that's a little history, just a tidbit. I'm sure there's much more if you wanted to delve deeper, but that's not what this episode is about.
No, it's a mini, so you'd be happy with what you got. But you said the first Ford was the Ford VB?
Yeah.
And did you find what the VB stood for?
No, I didn't.
I like to think it's very beautiful.
Maybe.
Just like us. Still, it's interesting that in 1889, the first cop car...
That impressed me.
...was an electric wagon.
It impressed me because we've just gotten to electric cars today.
Yeah, and now we're seeing a shift. A lot of larger agencies are buying a few Teslas and electric vehicles to keep on the side. And a lot of that seems to be coming from post-COVID, the manufacturing and production side of things.
Yeah.
It's difficult for agencies right now. There could be a couple-year backlog on getting yourself Explorers or Durangos that a lot of places buy. So, these things are readily available. We can get our hands on them because they made plenty, and the average citizen's not exactly snatching up every single one.
And a couple of years ago, I wrote an article, a pretty in-depth one, about all of the different types of electric patrol cars. That was several years ago. Mm-hmm. And at the time when I wrote it, there were very few agencies that had them. And they were mostly in California and New York City. Mm-hmm. And they were just...
smaller, for like a neighborhood.
Like no cage, nothing like that. It was just little patrol things. But when I wrote the article, it was very... almost a futuristic type of concept. Mm-hmm. Where now it's much more accepted.
I want to say the Chevy Volt was...
The Volt and the Leaf.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I wrote about both of those.
Yeah, those, I remember probably your article and others from the time years ago. Like, hey, there's some agencies adopting the Chevy Volt. Mm-hmm. Well, that's not going to last. But as we're skewing away from regular gas engines, and I think California by 2030... I want to say, is what the current legislation is. No new gas vehicles will be sold in the state. So anything from... and I don't know if you can buy used.
Good thing we don't live there.
But, we like our gas.
Yeah.
But nothing new manufactured beyond that date. So if it's 2031, you're either buying electric or you're buying something older. And I imagine the price of those older gas vehicles is going to skyrocket.
Yeah.
So hold on to what you got and treat it nicely and then sell it in California in 10 years. You will make a killing. And speaking of killing, we'll be back with probably more unfortunate murders soon. But we hope you enjoyed this mini episode.
Stay safe.
Peace. Love and soul?
Let's not.
Okay. All right, bye. Wait, don't leave yet. We have one more thing.
If you are looking for a career change or to expand your knowledge in an already established one, look no further than the National Investigative Training Academy. The National Investigative Training Academy, or NITA, N-I-T-A, has well over 100 courses with 70 professional development ones alone. NITA is constantly adding to their course catalog, and courses are focused on private investigation and security fields. Whether you would like to become a private investigator or you need continuing education for your investigative or security career, the National Investigative Training Academy is for you. All courses offered are 100% online and do at your own pace. Once completed, you will receive a certificate in that course. Sign up today at investigativeacademy.com. Make sure when you sign up for your courses, you mention we sent you there. We encourage you to get the best investigative and security training possible today. When you sign up, mention our brand ambassador code BA2367. That's BA2367, and you can find those courses at investigativeacademy.com. Look for links in our show notes as well.